Tuesday night, we got results from a small software company that you may never have heard of. It's called Pegasystems, P-E-G-A. And yesterday, the stock roared roughly 10%. But even after that move, I thought these numbers were pretty impressive. Impressive enough to be worth introducing this company to you, to the people at home. See, Pegasystems is in the business process management software business, BPM they call it. This may not be the sexiest industry on earth, but this company sells its software to huge enterprises like AIG, American Express, Cisco, JP Morgan, United Health Group, among others, who use it partially to automate complex business processes that require human involvement. The $1.75 billion company regularly competes against some of the biggest technology companies on earth and still wins business. In fact, Pegasystems is the #2 player in the space, 10% market share. Now, to get your attention, Pegasystems has some major cloud-based software as a service style offerings, too. Yet this stock is far from a high flyer. It trades at less than 24 times next year's earnings, despite having a 28% long-term growth rate. So what about the quarter? Tuesday night, Pega, it was a monster revenue beat, sales up 22% year over year, but it did miss the bottom line, with earnings coming in at 10 cents, 3 cents shy of what Wall Street was expecting. The reason for the miss? Because the company did some serious hiring during the quarter, and also because they booked some business where the profits can't yet be recognized because of the way that accounting is done. But the key with this kind of business is bookings, and they roared 74%. So let's take a closer look with Alan Trefler. He's the founder, chairman, and CEO of Pegasystems. Learn more about the quarter and his company's prospects. Mr. Trefler, welcome to Mad Money.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you for coming on. All right. I thought that you made comments that for the first time, I'd never heard this term, but I got to bring it out because it's really emblematic of what you do for companies. You deal and succeed with Generation Ders. What does a Generation Der do, and why do I need Pegasystems in order to be able to deal with them?
Well, you know, everyone has talked about Gen C, the sort of connected generation. We see this Gen D coming, and they're folks who are either going to devour businesses. You know, the companies they love, they just eat them up, or they demonize them. They go out and, you know, they try to actually assassinate them on Twitter, social media, all sorts of different ways. So companies need to figure out how to be more responsive, more customer-centric, or they're going to really suffer.
No, there's a great video on your site which shows someone who was actually, it says, uh-oh, look out, friend of the chairman, I think you have it. It's a really great tape. But give me, I'm a salesperson and a customer calls. What do I know because of Pegasystems, and how can I move their order along?
You mean you're a salesperson of a company that's using
that uses Pegasystems.
Well, you know, I'll give you a perfect example from some of our clients. Maybe you're a company that's using SFDC, for example. We mash up into that front end, and if you want to place an order, if you, for example, want to underwrite an insurance policy, or you want to make sure that you're given the exact next best action offer to that customer, we look at the data, we pull together the business process, we continually optimize, and we make it possible for you not just to make that order happen, but then for you to execute it. So it goes from order to fulfillment in record time.
Now, you're up against companies, I mean, for instance, Mark Benioff, speak to him all the time, Salesforce.com. I mean, wouldn't you be competing against him for some of this business?
Well, part of our philosophy is that we need to be able to wrap and renew our customers. Our customers often are large, complicated organizations, and they have many systems. The point for us is to create a real customer-centric and process-centric approach to dealing with the client. So we can be used as an alternative to Salesforce, or we can mash up into it.
But you also have, it seems like you're partnering with SAP, looking at the website, see you with doing them a lot. I mean, they come in and they bring you in with them?
Well, we typically sell independently of them, but they're a partner of ours, and we have about 65% of our clients are major SAP users.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now, one of the things, we rarely have this, sir, but you only have 2 major firms I follow that cover you, and you own 52% of the company. Is it hard to do that? It's all on you, isn't it?
Well, I'd like to say that there's a whole company that is all on. We now have about 3,000 people, and they do a brilliant job of actually posting results. And I'm a believer that ultimately the fundamentals matter. It's growing a great business, having great companies that want to be your customer, and that ultimately will make the business, the stock, and the shareholders happy.
But in the interim, this is one of the most volatile companies I've ever had on air. It does seem to have, it has quarterly volatility that might be off-putting to people. How can you change that?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that are happening, and in fact, we saw much less volatility in the first half of this year.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was good to have you, because it looks like something smooth here.
Well, a couple of things are going on. First of all, I think some of the volatility comes from the fact that we both offer our software on the monthly term subscription structure, or we also offer it on perpetual licenses. Sometimes companies want a perpetual license, and we think that it's good to accommodate them in the way that they want to, as long as it's commercially reasonable. However, the difference between a big perpetual license and a big term license affects the current quarter a lot. Though if you actually do the math, we're very, very transparent with our numbers, and we show exactly what's in backlog.
I mean, I think not only you're transparent, but you also kind of let the chips fall. I mean, you say on the conference call, look, we won this big order, but we really can't book it the way you'd like us to smooth things.
So, well, ultimately the accounting happens as the accounting happens, but the business is what's really important. And we have tremendous disclosures in our filings that would allow people to immediately see and completely see exactly what's going on.
All right, one last question. Workday has brought it to my attention that the best way to measure companies like yours is to say, once you're in, do you renew? What is your renewal rate once you're in?
Well, it's even better than that. Our renewal rate is in the high 90s, but even better, over, I'd say, 70 to 80% of our revenue comes as repeat orders from existing customers. We have a tremendous growth rate and radiation rate inside the accounts that we have, and that tells me customers are getting tremendous value and are finding it helps them serve their customers.
Absolutely, that's what we want to hear. And the renewal rates make it so that if you get the orders, they smooth out, then we'll get a higher price earnings multiple, which you deserve.
The law of large numbers helps. Now as we start, we crossed $500 million in revenue last year. As the company grows, you're less dependent on an individual deal. You get more of a rhythm.
Indeed. Okay, that is Alan Trefler, the chairman and CEO of Pegasystems. Go on the website. You can click on different icons, and you'll see how the software works. That's what you need to know before you buy the stock. Stick with Cramer.
There's something in the water. And the only thing more dangerous than an encounter with these fearsome fish is missing out on a meeting with our stock market shark. It's Mad Money's Chart Week. Cramer's diving in to find the stocks you can sink your teeth into and the predatory patterns you need to avoid. Think you can swim with the sharks? Tweet @JimCramer and show us the profitable patterns you've found. Cramer could feature your work on the show. Mad Money's Chart Week, all this week.